Hey everybody, welcome to J Squared. This is Jmacboogy here. This is my first YouTube video, so welcome to the channel. We're going to start off today going over our Mutant Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for January 2021. We're going to start off with a few Yu-Gi-Oh videos. We'll do some unboxing videos as well, and we'll just kind of go from there. So, yeah, I'm a relatively new player, and I am... I've done a couple decks so far, but this is one that hasn't got a lot of attention. I think a lot of people would like. So let's start off with the deck profile. Got 1, 2, 3 copies of Mutant ST46. This is one of your starters that you're going to want to see in your hands every time. Basically what it does is it searches a mutant spell or trap, and then you contribute itself and special summon a level 8 mutant monster from your deck. So definitely one of the cards you want to see, and you'll use this to search a lot of your traps. The other starter that you're definitely going to need 3 of is the Mutant M-05. And this guy searches mutant monsters. What you're usually going to use this for is to search mutant ST46. So that's kind of your combo. This is the one you're going to want to see first. Normal summon this guy, and then you can add ST46 to your hand. He also tributes himself and then special summons a mutant monster from the deck. So very useful. This is Mutant GB88. This is, honestly, you could maybe cut this card. I like to use it just because I played the field spell a lot, but if there's a field spell, you can special summon this card on your opponent's turn, and then you can tribute it and banish 1 card from your hand or face-up field and special summon a level 8 mutant monster. So pretty useful, kind of niche card, but something that you definitely can look into using. Now, as for the big guys, we play 2 Mutant Beasts, 2 Mutant Arsenals, and then 1 Mutant Mist. So, the one you're going to want to get out, what I think is probably the best one, is Mutant Beast here. Yeah, he's pretty impressive. He can't be targeted by monster effects, and then he can also negate a spell card effect. So, and these all have recursions as well. So if they get destroyed, you can bring something back from your banish zone. Pretty impressive. And they all have different types and attributes as well, which is kind of nice. Arsenal is one that you're going to bring out a lot just because you play a lot of traps in the deck. So he can, he can't be targeted with trap effects. And then he can also negate monster effects, which is very helpful. Mutant Mist can be special summoned if you tribute a spell card from the starters. This is one that I've seen a couple other profiles that usually gets cut, but I think it's good because I do run a few spell cards that you can set in the deck, including the field spell. So he can't be targeted by his spell effects, and then when a trap card is activated, you banish a card from your hand or field, and then you can draw 2 cards. So the draw 2 is very cool, but that's probably the one you're going to see the least amount of. So that kind of does it for our mutant monsters. The next one is Nemesis Keystone. This guy just allows you to target banish monsters and special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, shuffle that target back into the deck. So just another special summon that you can get out pretty easily. I had this at 2, and I ended up bringing it down to 1. Honestly, you don't necessarily need it, but it does help you link climb. So, Nemesis Keystone. To round off the monsters, we got Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon. I do run the Dragoon package here. Pretty standard stuff. And then one of the best cards in the deck, and a card that I haven't been able to use in any other deck, is Dimension Shifter. If you see this card on your first hand, it's provides problems for a lot of people. Even in this format today, after the December ban list, Dimension Shifter just provides a lot of problems for some decks. So definitely a good card to have. Continuing with hand traps, we got 2 Ash Blossoms. You could easily do 3 here, but I just, with Dimension Shifter, and you already have so much interruption from your mutant monsters, 2 seems like it's an okay amount. Now, to go into the spell cards, for our mutant spell cards, we got Mutant Evolution Lab and Mutant Fusion. So, Mutant Evolution Lab is pretty cool. Again, this is a pretty cheap deck. I know it's an ultra rare, but this is cards less than $1 from Phantom Rage, and the whole deck is pretty cheap. But when this card is activated, you can special summon a level 4 or lower mutant monster from your hand. So that's perfect if you start with M-05 and get ST46, special summon ST46. You start out with two mutant starters, and your end board is going to be, 2 of the bigger mutant monsters. So great card to have. Definitely needs to be a 3 of. Mutant Fusion is just allows you to get into your synthesis and the other one pretty easily. It's just a normal fusion. It'd be great if it was a quick play spell, but it's not. And honestly, this is one I've been thinking about cutting for quite some time. But you can use by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand or field. If your opponent has activated a card or effect this turn, you can use up to 1 monster each from your deck or graveyard. So I have played some games where that effect comes pretty handy when they hand trap you, and then you can use this card right away. But that's pretty much it for the mutant spell cards. And like I said, this is still a starter deck. It's kind of just for fun. You can take it to locals and maybe pull off a few victories, but I'm hoping they do come out with more support. So we have 3 Pod Extravagance. This is a really great card because your extra deck isn't too important except for those mutant cards. You're okay getting rid of some of them. The only problem that runs in with Extravagance is if you do have D-Shifter. So you either have to choose between this or D-Shifter, and that becomes a problem at some point. So it's a good turn 2 play. If you don't have D-Shifter and you have Pod Extravagance on the first play, you're fine doing that too. We also have Dimensional Fissure. You're going to want to banish cards, and you get a lot of recursion from this deck, so banishing is not a bad thing. And these are just the one-ofs here. You got Emergency Teleport, great card. If you see this in your starting hand, you're good to go. So it can special summon a level 3 or lower Psychic type. Both the starters are Psychic types. Just a great way to get them out pretty easy. Harpy's Feather Duster, pretty self-explanatory. Could be a side deck card, but there's not a lot of spell trap removal, and I just love this card. Red Eyes Fusion for the Dragoon package. And now we'll go into our Mutant Traps. We got 3 Mutant Cries, 2 Mutant Expansions. So Mutant Cry is cool. It allows you to fusion summon on your opponent's turn. And what you're going to want to do with that is go directly into Mutant Synthesis, and then you can pop a card. So this is a great card to have. Mutant Expansion is, it allows you to special summon a level 4 lower mutant card or add it to your hand. So that's a great, starter for your next turn. Or if you want to get some, just a wall up, that's fine too. It also provides protection for level 8 mutant monsters. If it would be destroyed by a card effect, you can just banish this card from your field instead. So some people play 3 mutant expansions. I play 2, but you can go either way. Definitely need 3 of the Mutant Cry though. 2 Trap Trick. As you saw there, we have a lot of traps, so these just help you bring them back. Add 1 to your field. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then we kind of have some one-ofs. Macrocosmos. There can only be 1. Magic Cylinder, just for fun. You do a lot of damage in this deck, and this is actually a fun way to kind of finish people off, I've noticed. And obviously you don't need to play this, but these 2 are very helpful. I'd argue that you could honestly take out Magic Cylinder and play more of these. And then we got 3 Infinite Impermanence with Trap Trick. It's perfect. Very easy to get these guys on the field. Not as useful as it was a few months ago, but I'm sure this is still going to be a staple card. So that's it for the main deck. I think we're at like 43 cards. Obviously, You can shape it however you want. For the Mutant Fusion cards, Mutant Synthesis, and then 2 Mutant Ultimates. So Mutant Synthesis is great. When you fusion summon him, you can pop a card, and then when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can make him unaffected by that card effect that turn. So very helpful, and this is a card that you're going to be basically using Mutant Cryon to do all the time, and you're going to bring him out and just cause some interruption. After that, he's kind of useless, so don't be afraid to get rid of him if you need to. Mutant Ultimus is one that you can try to bring out. He's a little bit tougher. He requires 3 level 8 or higher mutant monsters. And then when a card effect is activated, you can banish a mutant card from your graveyard with the same correlating card. So a spell, trap, or monster, and then negate that effect and then banish it. So he's basically a mecha buff for the deck. He's a little bit harder to get out, so I only run 2 of. Again, this card's 10 cents. This card's maybe $3. So this whole entire extra deck is very cheap as well. We got Dragoon. That's the last fusion card. Great to get out. Pretty easy to get out in this deck too, just because you are able to get multiple buys on the field and go to Verde Anaconda. So he's great to get up with a couple monster cards. We'll go into the one-ofs for the links, or the smaller link monsters. We got Almirage and Cross Sheep. Pretty self-explanatory, just link climbing with Almirage and then Cross Sheep. Since you do fusion summon a lot, he's great. And then we do run the Nightmare package, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. And then obviously we have IP as well. So IP is great, so you can climb into Unicorn on your opponent's turn. Phoenix is good too. Cerberus is one I probably rarely use. He's more just there for the extravagance to get rid of. But there's definitely other things you can replace him with. And then we got Verde Anaconda for Dragoon, Top Logic Zeraboros, and Appaloosa. This is obviously, you can switch him and Dragoon out if you want to, but great card. Zeraboros is cool just because there are so many banish effects, and since we do run Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos, you're banishing all the time. So he is great. He's kind of the big boss monster. And if you do have a really great starting board and you get a lot of material out, Appaloosa is fine as well, especially because Mutant Cry can use mutant cards in the graveyard or banish them, so you don't need to leave those monsters on the field. So don't be afraid to get rid of them with Appaloosa or these other big boss monsters. But yeah, overall, I think the deck is a lot of fun. It's definitely needs some work, but I enjoy playing on other people's turns. And these mutant cards, I mean, I think the all-star of the whole deck is Mutant Beast, and then you're going to bring out Arsenal a lot too. These are your big guys, and a lot of times you can probably just win the game with those two and then some back row stuff. So yeah, this is my my mutant deck profile. Thank you for checking it out. We'll come out with some unboxing stuff as well, and I think the next deck profile we'll do is probably Heroes, a personal favorite. Like I said, I just started playing in March, so pretty new to the game, but yeah, thank you guys for checking it out.